I said last night, the Chicago Bulls sure know how to make it interesting. This time, getting their third win in a row on tonight, this night against the Golden State Warriors. Only their second win over the Golden State Warriors since 2018. We're going to break it all down, have some fun, talk about it, and only we can do here at Chicago Bulls Central. But first, we got to play that winning intro.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. The Chicago Bulls defeated the Golden State Warriors tonight, 125-122. And this was such a game of runs for the Golden State Warriors and the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls, almost early in that fourth quarter, looked like they were trying to give it away to the Golden State Warriors. We had some difficulties just passing the ball around. Turnovers in this game were 14 turnovers, but the Chicago Bulls were able to hold on and get the victory tonight. DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic both lead the way for the Chicago Bulls in large parts of this game. DeMar DeRozan with 33 points, going 10 of 17 shooting in this game, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Then you got Nikola Vucevic as well. Had some doubts about Vucevic's ability to kind of overcome Draymond Green's defense in this game, but he scores 33 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists in this game. And then Kobe White, 7 for 16 from the field, 2 of 6 from three-point range, hitting a big three down the stretch of this game, though. 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals from Kobe White. He has a plus-minus of +2, the highest in the starting lineup besides DeMar DeRozan. Then you have Ayo Dosunmu as well, 6 of 12 from the field, 14 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds in this game, 2 blocks as well from Ayo Dosunmu. Alex Caruso, only 22 minutes played for Alex Caruso, 5 points for him in this game. And then you got to look towards the bench. The Bulls did not have a lot of scoring from the bench for the second night in a row. Now, we had more points than what we had last night, but not by much. Andre Drummond with 10 points. Only 1 rebound, surprisingly enough, from Andre Drummond. He had 2 assists, 1 steal in this game. Javon Carter's the one with 10 points in this game. Completely misreading my stat sheet. Javon Carter playing a solid game for the Chicago Bulls today on both sides of the ball. Andre Drummond only with 1.13 minutes played in this game. And then Ernalot Batum, 17 minutes played in this game, 6 points. Him and Julian Phillips did not play much in this game. I think Batum played more than Julian Phillips with those 17 minutes. Torrey Craig, 14 minutes upon his return, taking away some from Julian Phillips. But overall, really liked the way that this team was able to hold on for a win. And it wasn't pretty. It's some definitely things that they need to look at and improving over this streak. But listen, the Bulls were able to win this game. Now, as far as when you look at the gritty stats, as we call them, the Bulls got out-rebounded by 8 today. The Golden State Warriors had 31 assists, are only 19 assists. They also had 22 points off turnovers, are only 13 points off turnovers. The Bulls only have 5 second chance points in this game. They had 23 to the Golden State Warriors, and points in the paint, 58-40. The Bulls lost basically every single one of the gritty stats that I call them, and still were able to pull out this game by the performances of DeMar DeRozan, of Nikola Vucevic, and that was really important for this Bulls team. When you look at the fourth quarter, right, this is one of the more balanced fourth quarters as far as scoring that we've had. Kobe White only made 1 shot, but he had 4. DeMar DeRozan took 5 shots in the fourth quarter. He made 3 of those for 9 points. Kobe White had 6 points. And then you went to the next up, you're looking at Nikola Vucevic in the fourth quarter of this game, scoring 7 points. The only other player to score in the fourth quarter of this game was Javon Carter with that 3. And then Andre Drummond did have a free throw that he did hit in the fourth quarter as well. But other than that, it was all Vooch, Kobe, and DeMar DeRozan down the stretch of this game that were able to help the Bulls pull away and get and be able to hold on for this win tonight. So, it is what it is. Both the Golden State Warriors and the Chicago Bulls had double-digit leads at points in this game. The Bulls' biggest lead was 12. The Golden State Warriors' biggest lead was 13. When you look at time of possession, the Golden State Warriors had the lead for 23 minutes out of this game. The Chicago Bulls were just under 20 minutes at 19 minutes and 54 seconds. So both teams held on to the lead. There were 22 lead changes in this game, and 13 separate times this game was tied as well. But overall, you got to love it. The Bulls were able to do enough to come out with a victory in this game. It's a victory. Right? Let's be clear. It was a victory. You got to love the Bulls win. but they have a lot of stuff that they gotta work on. Absolutely. We got Big Kev coming in the building. Oh, and Big Kev's gone just like that. I'm sure he'll come back. Big Kev be having those internet issues because he's old. But Bulls definitely get the win, man. Definitely get the win. Listen, this was one of those games that I'm not gonna lie. As the game went on down the stretch, it seemed like we were gonna keep getting turnovers. I was definitely worried about it. Now, the fact that the Golden State Warriors only hit 11 3-pointers in this game, the Chicago Bulls actually shot the ball better from three and hit more 3-pointers than the Golden State Warriors. That's huge. That's not something you're going to be able to see a lot for the Chicago Bulls, man. We got 600 in the chat, by the way. Shout out to the 600 people watching. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, by the way. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of the season. But man, this was the most Chicago Bulls type game that we've seen the Chicago Bulls play. It was at points where it was like we were throwing the ball away, giving it to the Golden State Warriors to try to get this game off, and the Bulls are able to hold on, man. And this was an exciting game, especially when you look for a late game. This game just finished a little bit after midnight on the East Coast, a little bit after 11 p.m. In Chicago time. But it's just, hey, man, this team, as I've said before, is one of the most bipolar and hard to predict teams in the league, because this Bulls team just you never know what type of effort you're going to get from this team. You get wins like tonight, right, where the Bulls just show up so much, and now we're streaking 3 games in a row. But then you have games where you lose them to like the Detroit Pistons. So it's really always hard to predict what level of play you're going to get from this team on any given night. But I tell you what, I'm happy that the Bulls were able to pull out this victory tonight for this big win, and they continue. Now they get a day off, right? They don't play again until Saturday at 3 p.m. Chicago time when they take on the Clippers. And, with the way that the Bulls have been playing over this stretch, you can't deny that the Bulls can be in a situation to really beat anybody. It just depends on how they perform on any given night. We're going to try to bring Big Kev back in. What's going on, Kev?
Brody?
Can't hear you, brother. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Here we go. Hey, listen, the Bulls just beat the Golden State Warriors in Golden State for the first time since before my youngest child was born, Jack. That's crazy. 2015.
And this is only our second win against them since 2018. We just have not beat the Golden State Warriors a lot, bro, for years at this point. 6 years. How you got 2 wins against a team in 6 years? That's crazy, bro.
Well, it makes sense to a certain degree as the Golden State Warriors, and the Bulls are notoriously bad against West Coast teams. But tonight was a spirited effort, and we know the last game they lost was just karma. You booing Jerry Krause's family in front of the world. I think that's why they lost that last game. But to go on the road and get 3 straight victories, I don't care how ugly these wins are, I'm impressed.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that, winning ugly, winning pretty, whatever it is, get the damn win, right? Secure the win first. We'll talk about how you got the win after the fact, but make sure you secure the win. But I think the important thing in this stretch for the Chicago Bulls is that, they're bending, right? They have issues where they're not able to hold on to the lead. That thing happens, but they haven't break. And more so, their mentality hasn't broken yet. So often early this season, when teams will go on runs like that stretch where we had with 2 back-to-back turnovers that led into easy dunks and layups for the Golden State Warriors, just kind of with about 9 minutes left in that fourth quarter, there are times where that would have absolutely mentally broke the Chicago Bulls.
Oh yeah, they would have folded like a lawn chair normally, and now you can see that. I got to give Billy Donovan credit. You're starting to see the Bulls have an identity. When the season started, the main thing that all of us were saying, hey, C-Dub, Bobby, Steve-O, was that the Bulls did not have an identity. Now they got an identity. They play defense. They hitting threes, 16 threes again tonight after hitting a bunch of threes last night on a back-to-back. That's incredible, man.
Yeah, and against the Golden State Warriors team where you shoot the 3 ball better than them by percentage and make more 3-pointers than them, that's crazy. You held the Golden State Warriors to 11 3-pointers. They shot the ball 26% from 3-point range. That you just don't see that a lot for the Golden State Warriors. I know more recently that they don't have the 3-point punch that they've had in previous years, but still, even with that said, like They've absolutely killed us. And Klay Thompson has absolutely gone nuclear. Now, shout out to Draymond Green for getting his triple double. Can't take away from that, right? But like just the way that this team, it's just different. And I know people are going to use this for the whole narrative of, well, we're a better team without Zach LaVine. That's a story where we're talking about for the offseason. But like, regardless of that, you just don't typically expect that. The Golden State Warriors on the season are a 39% team shooting the three ball. And we held
And
them well below that.
And prior to tonight, they were 30-1 when Draymond Green gets a triple double. So now they're 30-2 in his career.
Yeah.
Again, it's because the Bulls are showing something that they haven't shown over the last 2 seasons, which is resiliency. They not allowing their heads to get down. They're playing in a lot of clutch games. Even though they lose some of them, they've won more than they've lost in these games in the last 3 minutes where it's a 5-point game or so. DeMar DeRozan, I mean, hats off to Buddy, bro. Like that shot that he hit, the and one, was just bananas. Like it was bananas, and he's locked in. So obviously people are gonna bring the Zach LaVine thing up, but Zach LaVine ain't going nowhere. He signed his contract extension. His trade value has plummeted since he's gotten hurt. So we know what it is. He'll be back on this team next year, but we got to ride this wave and take these wins.
Well, I'm going to ask you this, and I talked a little bit about this in today. I know I like you. I do think Zach LaVine, if he's going to be moved, is more than likely not going to be until the trade deadline next year, just with the Bulls winning, the injury, those type of concerns around it. But I'll ask you this. If the Bulls continue finishing out the season this strong, and God forbid they come out the play-in tournament and let's say they get a win or two in the first round, do you think then that the front office looks at that and says, hey, maybe we do need to move this so we can spread out those assets a little bit more, even if it does mean taking a deal that maybe they wouldn't have taken at the trade deadline this year?
I mean, that's something that remains to be seen. Like, I feel like it'll speak more toward if they're going to re-sign DeMar DeRozan than if it's going to trade Zach LaVine. We know
Fair.
that Zach's contract is up, and not Zach, but DeMar wants to come back. He's gone on the record to say that he wants to come back, and we know that AK fall in love with players. So if they make a strong push, and let's say they make a push past the 8 seed to the 7, or maybe even the 6, depending on how things go. Obviously, Miami's in playoff mode now. You know how they do every year. So they probably not going to give up that 6th spot. But the Bulls, the way they're playing defense. They're hitting threes. Hey, it's a chance. I'm not trying to get too hopeful. We got to stay even keel, as Bobby like to say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I just thought it was an interesting thing to throw out since it happened. In the fourth quarter of this game, it was all DeMar, Kobe, and Nikola Vucevic. DeMar with 9 points, Kobe with 6 points, Vuce with 7 points in the fourth quarter of this game. Outside of that, only one other player scores a bucket in this game. In the fourth quarter, that's Javon Carter. Andre Drummond does hit a free throw in that as well. How do you feel about, kind of spreading out the love? 4 shots for Kobe, 5 shots for DeMar DeRozan, 4 shots for Nikola Vucevic. We talk a lot about how Billy Donovan almost exclusively goes to DeMar in close games in the fourth quarter. Now, Kobe didn't hit. He went only with 1 for 4, but those shots were there for him. How do you feel that Billy Donovan spread out that offense here in the fourth quarter?
I think that's important. And honestly, like the Bulls will have maybe 3 or 4 more wins had this been the identity, the approach throughout the whole season, as opposed to since like the last month or so. But Kobe has earned it. Like he had to earn that trust from not just Billy Donovan, but from DeMar as well. I think DeMar always felt like he had to be the one to do it. And now he doesn't feel that way. I feel like he feels like he can trust Kobe. And today, the Bulls needed to go through Vucevic because they didn't have a big man out there for Golden State. So to see him go out there and get 33 and 11, that was important. They played through him a little bit. He got his numbers, and it shows in Kobe's numbers. Kobe only had 20? He only had 14 shots. So they did the right thing. They had the proper game plan coming in tonight, and they executed.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about the fact that I know we talked about they had no true big man out there for the Golden State Warriors? The decision to not play Kevon Looney kind of surprised me a little bit in this one.
I was at work, so I was driving home listening to the game in the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half, and I'm like, where is Kevon Looney? Is he hurt? Like I heard Moody was out there. I know Jackson Davis, is that his name? He was out there. It was shocking that they didn't play Kevon Looney, and it benefited the Bulls. So thank you, Steve Kerr.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I will say this. Yeah, it benefited the Bulls. I mean, overall in this game, though, the Golden State Warriors out rebounding the Chicago Bulls by 8 with mainly guards out there rebounding the ball. And, shout out to Shay in the chat who talks a lot about how rebounding is a team thing. You need to rebound as a team. And while Nikola Vucevic had an amazing night rebounding the ball today, you got to see the Golden State Warriors and how important team rebounding is. Now, the Bulls do have that at stretches too. I think when you get close games, we don't always get a lot of the close the clutch rebounds, even though we're one of the better clutch teams in the NBA. But just that seeing how well the Golden State Warriors still rebounded the ball, being undersized most of this game, just kind of reminded me of like kind of where the Bulls fall short at continually. Man.
Well, you know what that is. Vooch is always flat-footed.
Yeah.
And two, when you're in Golden State, the referees swallow their whistles. There was a stretch. There was one where Kuminga got the rebound. He literally threw DeRozan on the floor, and
Yeah.
they didn't even think about blowing the whistle. On top of the fact that DeRozan don't jump. Vooch doesn't jump for rebounds. It's really Caruso. Ayo might try to get a one or a Kobe. But Vooch and DeRozan are definitely liabilities on defensive rebounding, at least, especially in close games. Those guys were crashing the boards from from the 3-point line. So they was really jumping over the back of the Bulls players in that fourth quarter, at least. But hey, again, we got the win, so I don't care how it looked.
Yeah, and then the missed call, like they called an offensive foul on Kobe White on the 3 where Draymond kind of initiated some contact there because his feet came out.
He
And
jumped
to
into
me,
his face.
yeah, you came in. You have to have the space to come back down. That's my opinion. I'm a Bulls fan. I'm sure somebody will have some technical excuse on why that was an offensive play call, but it really seemed like the refs down the stretch of this game, as we know that they do, they gave Golden State Warriors the benefit of the whistle, but the Bulls are still able to overcome it.
And that's the big thing about it, right? Like when that happened, the Bulls did not hang their heads. They went down and executed on both ends of the floor. Because I
Yeah.
think Draymond missed a 3 right after that. He was celebrating like he did something good, but he really got away with one. And I hate when players do that. Like, dude, you clearly got away with one, and you acting like you did something good. Stop it, my dude. He missed that 3. The Bulls came down and executed, man. Like, I hated to see Draymond the way he was out there. He set illegal screens all day
Yeah.
all day. So it was great to see him foul out on an illegal screen.
Yeah, I mean, Dre is Dre. Like you come to expect that from Dre. He did Dre things. It's why they play him at this point in time. Like I said, shout out to him for getting a triple double. But I'm not gonna lie. I would be lying if I didn't say that I smiled a little bit when he got that last foul call. That's all I'm
I
gonna say.
smiled too. That triple double was for C-Dub. You know it.
Yeah, C-Dub gotta get his in there, man. That's funny. How'd you feel about the play tonight from Ernest Biddum? The bench overall. How'd you feel the bench performed tonight for the Bulls?
I thought it was solid. I didn't get to see the whole game, but the guys caught me up when I was able to log in. And Javon Carter, we got to give him some credit for how he's been playing the last week or so. Even in the game where he passed up on layups, he was more active. He seems like he's finally settling down. 4 for 7 tonight, 2 for 3 from 3, 2 assists, 1 steal, probably like 6 pump fakes, but that's neither here nor there. 10 points though. And then the
Yeah.
team is settling down too. Because normally he'll have 2 or 3 turnovers. He didn't have any turnovers. He did have 6 points, 2 for 4 from 3, and he's stretching the floor. You got 5 threes off the bench today with Julian Phillips contributing. You really can't go wrong there. Like those guys were all pluses and the plus minus. And honestly, the whole starting lineup was a minus besides DeMar DeRozan with a +4 and Kobe White with a +2. So the bench was necessary. Every single point that they scored was absolutely needed.
And I think the thing to watch over this next couple of games while Torrey Craig is getting back, he's going to be on the minutes restriction, things like that, is how the bench kind of falls into their roles now. Because now, especially if Javon Carter is going to be playing more solidly than what he has at the beginning of the season, that you're gonna get a nice balance there. You got Ernest out there for shooting. He also is a solid defender, right? He's shown so far.
Mm-hmm.
You got Julian Phillips as the young guy who rebounds, he blocks shots, he can shoot some. You got Torrey Craig as the vet out there, and we already know what Drummond can be. You give Drummond 15 to 18 minutes, he's going to get you a double-double. So I really like that, how the bench seems to be shaken out. And they have now, 18 games left, I think, to kind of round out heading into that play-in. We can really get a look at what now this Bulls team looks like with a full, more balanced bench for sure.
When the last time the Bulls had a 3-game winning streak, period?
Well, right after the Zach LaVine went down, when we had a 4-game winning streak, then I
Yeah,
think that was the
yeah.
last time. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's good to see them, man. Like coming into this road trip, I don't think any of us thought we were gonna win the first three, especially
yeah,
with Sacramento and Golden State on the docket.
yeah.
And we got another dog fight coming up with early with LA on Saturday.
Yeah, 3 p.m. Chicago start time on Saturday for against that game against LA. It's good. Listen, if the Bulls were to finish this, keep in mind that would be the fourth win in a row. That would be then the Bulls also getting to 500 for the first time since the season started.
Since
Right?
the
We
season
saw,
started, we
yeah,
talking about since 2
0.
seasons ago.
Exactly. So if the Bulls are able to get that, that would be crazy. We're not going to put that expectation out there yet. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But this just goes to show why, like, because I'm sure, like you, I know you're not as on Twitter as like I am or whatever, but like it seemed like Sunday, all the talk on Twitter was people being over the Chicago Bulls, how they still love the Bulls, but it's been such a difficult season to watch. And now the Bulls respond with one of their best weeks, one of their best streaks that they've had so far this season, and they just go to show why you can't count a team out that's still figuring it out. And you talked about it. The biggest thing that, to me, that's held this team back outside of the injuries, things like that, is that we haven't had an identity.
Mm-hmm.
Though that identity is what gets you some of those close wins. It's what gets you, pushes you through some games that you're not supposed to win. The Bulls building that identity now, I truly feel like could make the end of the season even more exciting than what it was in December when we were rocking and rolling and stuff like that. And we just got to see who's going to come to fruition.
That loss to Detroit, and I see people talking about it in the comments, it helped the Bulls more than it hurt them. I feel like they went to that locker room and they might not have had a players only meeting like they did at the beginning of the season when they
Yeah,
lost to
yeah,
Detroit, but they looked at themselves in the mirror like, what the F are we doing? What's really going on around here? Because
yeah,
at the end of the day, you lose to a team that only got 9 wins. And in the way they lost was just embarrassing. Kobe was out there just putting up bricks. Like they've turned it around since then. So sometimes a loss like that can propel you to higher heights. And it's
for
done
sure.
so for the Bulls right now.
For sure. Now, I had some questions myself. I know a lot of Bulls fans asked about it. I see some of the guys in the chat talking about it as well. I had my doubts on the Bulls being able to push towards that 8 seed. Right now, the Bulls are 3.5 games behind the Indiana Pacers for that 8 seed. With the way that the Bulls have been playing, the way that they have performed in these games, the fact that they are the best clutch team in the NBA and have 3 of the best performers in clutch moments in Vooch, DeMar, and Kobe as well. Do you think that's a possibility that they can push higher? I look at that separation. I still have some doubt, but the way the team's playing right now, maybe it is possible.
There's no better time than right now to be doing what the Bulls are doing. They're picking up momentum on the road in
Yeah,
hostile environments. So at the end of the day, whether they get to that 8 seed or higher or not, they're going to be ready for that play-in situation. They've played
yeah,
in enough overtime games, they've played in enough clutch games. They're going to be ready. Hopefully they can get to that 8 seed so they'll have 2 chances just in case. But at the end
yeah,
of the day, I don't think it matters. I like what I'm seeing from these guys, and I feel like it's only going to get better. Their confidence is soaring. And honestly, Billy Donovan and the rest of those guys are coaching really well for the first time in 3 years, in my opinion, besides when Lonzo was healthy.
I mean, you know me. I'm not a Billy Donovan guy, but I gotta give him credit. He's coached a really good game. You could tell that the Bulls had a game plan. Now you got to plan until you get punched in the face, right? The Mike Tyson quote or whatever it is. And Steve Kerr is one of the best coaches in the history of the game, and he's always going to make adjustments at halftime. But the Bulls did come into this game with a game plan, and they were able to keep the game close because of that. Yeah, the Golden State Warriors got out to that initial big lead when I was like, hey, here we go. It's going to be a normal Golden State game. But on top of the players not breaking, on top of Billy Donovan having a solid enough game plan, this team right now is playing with that level that if they are, right? Keep in mind, last year we would have beat the Miami Heat if freaking Billy Donovan didn't think to take Kobe White out that damn game. Still would always haunt me, but I think he's learned from those mistakes now.
Oh yeah, and Big Diesel, you're right. The Bulls are getting healthy at the right time, and
Yeah,
that helps as well. You got more bodies to throw out there, and we talking about coaching. Billy Donovan and company are they're allowing the young players to get their feet under them. And look at Miami last year, since we just mentioned them. They allowed their young players to go out there and help them all the way to the NBA finals.
yeah,
Duncan Robinson was buried on the bench early in the season last season, and he played his way back into the rotation. And he was a big part of the reason why they went to the finals. So the big teams and the Phillips and the Ios, even Dalen Terry, when he finally found his way back on the court, all of those guys play pivotal roles in what's going to be either the success or the failure of the Chicago Bulls. But you got to let them get out there and play.
Completely agree with you there. We got super chats in the building. Brandon L. Jet says, "Don't make Big Kev angry. He make people tuck they chains in on God." Listen, Big Kev, you making people tuck they chains, brother?
Hey, that's the old me, man. I'm a reformed. I'm a Christian man. Let's go.
Listen, every once in a while you got to kick some ass for the Lord, bro. So it is what it is.
Hey,
there,
Jesus
man.
flipped the tables over. You did.
Yeah. We got Dennis in the building. Says Leroy played okay tonight with an acceptable pump fake shot ratio. Go Bulls. Hey, I'll tell you what, bro. Once I found out that Javon Carter's first name is actually Leroy, it made everything made sense.
I didn't know that, so now it's over with.
Yeah, his name is Leroy Javon Carter. It makes everything make sense, bro.
And you can tell that he used to have a Jerry curl. That's why his hair gone. You can tell.
That the same thing that happened to you?
Yeah, I did. I had some S curls.
You had Jerry curl?
I had the S curls back in the day, the little kid. Looking like you remember Immature Batman and
that is hilarious, Batman. Oh man, that's hilarious. Now I need to find those pictures. Let me go do a deep dive.
No, please no.
Yeah. Ali Ford in the building says, "Haize, let's see 20,000 subscribers, soon to be subscribers." I mean, let's hope so, man. Like at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not going to pander for subscribers, but listen, just support your boy. We got the best Bulls channel in the land right now, man. Another one from Brandon L. Jet says DeMar has become the Chris Paul of the Bulls. His playing crunch time really calmed the Bulls down. Zach don't have that level of leadership. Now, I don't like getting into the having to knock Zach to boost somebody up, but that is a difference. And I think that's also a difference also with Kobe White's play. Kobe White, when he does have the ball in the fourth quarter, one thing he doesn't do, he doesn't really make mistakes. He knows where to pass it. He has that basketball IQ, or he can also score it on you. And I think having two players out there that can do that has definitely helped the Bulls be this clutch team in the fourth quarter. Go ahead.
I'm right there with you, because you look at the poise that not only DeRozan and White play with, but pretty much everybody, Ayo, Vooch, those guys play with poise. And again, we hate to harp on the Zach factor, but Zach hasn't shown that. He's been frenetic. He doesn't really have that calm demeanor down the stretch. He forces bad shots. That shot that Kobe hit, for example, where he did the fadeaway to give the Bulls to tie the game late in the fourth quarter. Zach would have took a step back three in that situation. And it's like, you look at Kobe with Zach being out, he's just shown that he's ready to take the step forward. He's ready to do it, and he's done it. He's done it.
Yeah, Kobe, the growth that Kobe White's had, it's been great to see, because it makes you look back on it and see how it was building blocks that were placed. When Kobe White moved to the bench after Lonzo was signed, he realized, hey, I'm not going to get the 15 shots that I was getting before. How can I impact that game? Which made him take more of a pride in the defensive side of the ball. That first season after this version of the team was formed, when we had that 9-game winning streak that everybody likes to go back to, 2 of those games we won because of defensive plays by Kobe White down the stretch. He then takes that in last season and is more consistent defensively while he's having one of his worst shooting seasons, and now he's really bringing it all together. That's why you see the Kobe White that draws fouls, draws charges, understands the weak side defense, where to put his body at, but then is now back to being that scorer he's been for the most part of his career. I mean, his whole basketball career, even in college. And now we're seeing just this more realized version of Kobe as a leader, as somebody who has patience, which I think he learned coming off the bench. And now Kobe White is playing with DeMar as well. Like, Kobe White's ascension this season is going to be something that it's going to be, to look back on it in a couple of years from now, or even next season, and just remember this is how he laid that foundation and built off of it this season.
You know what's crazy? Like, he finishes like he's 6'5", 6'6". He dunking on people. He
is 6'6" though. That's the thing I always forget. Kobe White is a big guard. He's 6'6".
So small, bro.
He has that negative wingspan. He's 6'6", but he has a 6'5" wingspan. But I agree with you. I say that all the time over on Locked On Bulls. I forget how big Kobe White is. And then so sometimes like today when he was switching on Kuminga and I was like, oh shit, here we go. And I had to remember, oh wait, Kobe's actually a big point guard. So we're good. Like,
I ain't mad at him, man. He finishing with either hand. He catching bodies at the rim. And I only
yeah.
mention that because Zach don't be dunking on people, but Kobe do. It's crazy to see it, bro. It's
Yeah.
really crazy to see it. I like the relationship that him and DeRozan are starting to have. You seen that argument they had early in the what was it, the third quarter or was it late second quarter? When Kobe and DeMar were like at it because I
Yeah.
think DeMar wanted him to step up a little bit and he didn't, and they so like I like the fact that they have that big bro little bro relationship that's not overshadowed by what's happening with Zach LaVine. So it's good to see it, man. And again, we can't talk enough about how Vooch was the stabilizing force tonight. He did what he's supposed to do. He wasn't passing when you know how Vooch like to do. He got a little
Yeah.
person on him. He'll still pass the ball too much, but he did his thing today. He didn't shoot too many threes, and he hit some big shots.
And after some of the worst play from Nikola Vucevic, he's strung together some really, really good games. And of course, it goes with the team. But when you look at him for the month of March so far, 4 games over March, he's shooting the ball 46% from the field, 36% from 3-point range, even though it still feels like he's shooting it terribly from 3-point range.
What's his 3 points?
36% over the 4 games over the month of March.
Okay.
Yeah, not terrible, not great either, but not terrible, especially for a center. And he's still taking 4 3-pointers a game. So, Vooch is coming around. And, he had a solid
that's great
enough
for Vooch.
Yeah, that's really good for Vooch. 33 points tonight, 23 the night before, only 10 against Sacramento, but we understood that. He still had a really, a solid impact, and then 17 against Milwaukee. Vooch is putting it together, man. Vooch is putting it together.
I am not mad at Vooch, man. Like he's hitting more than that 1-3 that he had been hitting for the whole season.
Yeah.
Like we just knew, like once he hit 1-3, whether it was in the first half or the second half, that was it. So now he hitting 2. I take it. I
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah, and listen, Vooch. The thing with Vooch, I think too, is that when Kobe's playing really well and dishing the ball off well, he always finds a way to get Vooch involved. And Io's starting to do that a little bit more too. Even though Io had some turnovers today, man, that it was just like, come on, Io. Like it kind of reminded me of sophomore slump Io last year. But he played a much better game than that. But it was just some of those turnovers is like, come on, Io. What are we doing here, bro? It's like, did you not see the guy? Did you not see Moses Moody right there? Did you not see him right there?
Like handing him the ball, bro. Like, what are you doing? And again, Klay Thompson off the bench, bro. Like he always show up against the Bulls, bro. It's like a girl broke his heart in Chicago or something, and he just want to make sure that she see him every time that he play the Bulls.
That's funny. That's hilarious. But yeah, man. So at the end of the day, man, the Bulls get this win, and I love the fact that they were able to pull this out in the manner in which they did. But we got another one Saturday coming up against the Los Angeles Clippers. What's your confidence level right now, bro?
I mean, my confidence level is probably where the Bulls' confidence level is, like high, and honestly, it doesn't mean that they're going to go out there and win, but we know one thing about this current Chicago Bulls team is they're going to go out there and compete, whether they go down by double digits early, whether they go up by double digits. It's going to be a dogfight by the time it gets to 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They're going to have a chance to win. And as long as you got a chance to win, you can win. So I want the Bulls to do exactly what they've been doing, come out with the right mindset, defensively and offensively, and let's be in a situation where we got a chance to come out with a win on the road. And I expect them to do the same thing early Saturday.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so, man. Listen. The thing with this Bulls team is the one thing that I've learned is to never expect anything. I don't mean that negative. I don't mean like don't have solid expectations for this team, but you never know what version of the Chicago Bulls you're going to get, and especially with the way that they've been playing now, like they can come in there against the Clippers and look great for the full game. They come in and have a terrible half, but have an amazing second half and still end up winning the game. But the thing is that this team, for the first time in a while, is playing like a full and complete team, and they're trusting each other. And Billy Donovan's trusting the players off the bench too. We still went deep in this game, and I think having Torrey Craig back is going to be important, especially against a game like the Clippers. You can only play up to 16 minutes. Billy Donovan said he's on a strict minutes restriction, so not just a minutes restriction, a strict minutes restriction. So we're not going to see him very much, but The way this team is playing right now, I don't know how you don't have a level of confidence in this team, Bulls fans. And you know what, Bulls fans, though, same time, they're going to have confidence right now. There are going to be people that say after these 3 games, they're going to be like, the Bulls can absolutely make it out the play-in tournament. Let them win one bad game against the Clippers, and then it'll all turn around.
Listen, even if they go out there and have a bad game against the Clippers, like Golden State lost by 52 on Sunday and then followed it up with a 35-point win against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
That's the nature of basketball. No lead is safe in this league. I don't care if you go up by 30. Teams are capable of overcoming that just based on the way pace is right now and how often players shoot threes. So if they lose against the Clippers, it's on to the next game. At least right now, the Bulls are playing their best basketball, and that's what really matters.
For sure. Random Blank says Kobe getting more and more likely to secure the MIP. Now, we know that the Philadelphia 76ers is going through their turmoil, especially with the Embiid being out. How do you feel about that most improved player race right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's at one point it was Kobe's race to lose, and then he kind of let go of the ball a little bit, and allowed other people to get into it. But Kobe is in my opinion the front runner. And if the Bulls play above 500 basketball for the rest of the season, he's going to win that MIP for sure, because he's going to be a major part of the reason as to why they have a decent record. Because coming into the season, I didn't expect them to be a 500 team. I thought they was going to win 39, 38 games. So if they win more than 42 games, he should win the MIP.
And I think especially you got to look at the thing is, you know me, I could be extremely literal. You talk about most improved. Kobe White has improved more than what Tyrese Maxey has improved from last season. Maxey was already a starter averaging over 20 points per game. Kobe White was a bench player averaging barely 9 points per game last season. And when you look at it, he's increased in role. He's one of the focal points of the Chicago Bulls offense. He's increased in output more than Tyrese Maxey has. And generally, he's been a more impactful player for a team that's gone through so much more turmoil and pulled out on the other side of that, man. I got to give it to Kobe. Personally, I know I'm a Bulls fan. That could absolutely make me jaded, but it is what it is. I'm a ride for my guy, man.
All day. Man, bump them other niggas. I'll ride for my niggas. What you talking about?
Yeah, for sure. Rob says Vooch kind of disappeared in the fourth quarter. We actually just went over those fourth quarter stats. That's not true. Nikola Vucevic took 4 shots, the second most. Him and Kobe tied for the second most in the fourth quarter, and he scored the second most points, 7 points. DeMar scored 9. Vooch didn't disappear in the fourth quarter.
And he had a big 3 from the elbow, like a 3 from Vooch late in the fourth quarter. Then he was missing those all the way up until like last week.
Yeah. Up until, like you said, last week. Like it's just recently. Like you gotta give him some love, man. Come on. Y'all gotta I hate the way that people have turned on. Well, it's never really been wholly positive for Vooch. And I think people always look at Vooch as what he's not and kind of miss the things that he does do well. And don't get me wrong, he has some big flaws, but Vooch did some really good things today, man.
Oh yeah, like really big. And he got some rebounds. He had another double-double.
Yeah.
You know, like what do you expect from this dude? He's the second to third scoring option on any given night. And tonight he came out and gave you 30 and 10. Like, what else do you want from him? Besides that, he can't do that every night because this isn't the way that team is built. But at the end of the day, like Vooch came out and gave us everything that he had tonight. And he had to play through all those illegal screens that Drummond like to set, so on and so forth. I'm taking it.
Facts. Shout out to Illini Cast in the building. Says, I'll tell you, every Illini fan watching smiled a little seeing Pods miss that layup at the end. I'm sure that they did. By the way, I need y'all to go over there and support Illini Cast, man. They are great at what they do. I talked to you guys before about a show that I wouldn't mind joining the network. Y'all go tell them who the family is that they need to join. Y'all make sure y'all go and get in their head. Show some support from Chicago Bulls Central because you're trying to get them to join the family. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Wait, what? What are you talking about big balls for? That's weird, bro. That's weird, man. That's just strange. That's very strange. Corn in the book says Max is an all-star, sad but true. I want Kobe to get it, but he's not an all-star this year, but I'll give it to Kobe. It's not about being an all-star, though. It's and that's the thing. And not to knock you, Corn, but I think the most improved player award has taken on a completely different meaning than what the name of the award is. It's the most improved, meaning you've improved the most over last season. Maxey was a borderline all-star last season.
Yep, he sure was. And if it wasn't for the beard being on that team, he would have been.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact for sure. So, it is what it is there, man. Any last thoughts, Kev, before we get out of here? It's already 1 o'clock in the morning, my time. I still got to go do Locked On Bulls, man. Dedicated.
I'll say that I'm proud of myself. I don't even look sleepy, baby. It's 12:09.
I'm proud of you too, bro. Like you gonna pass out as soon as you turn off the camera, though, ain't you?
Yes. No,
Hey, let me see that tee. That's a fight. Run DMC.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Gotta love the vintage tee.
I'm
Y'all, we got Big Kev up at past midnight Chicago time when y'all know his bedtime is 9:30. Y'all show some love to Big Kev, man, coming over here and hanging with your boy. Because I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I literally told y'all that I would told the team, I was like, listen, the game is gonna be late. I know my energy is gonna be off. I need somebody to come ride with me on this one. Big Kev came and hung with your boy, man.
Yes, sir.
Y'all make sure y'all go over to Chicago White Sox and Cubs Central. Big Kev holding it down for both the baseball teams over on that channel with his team. He's killing it over there. Y'all make sure y'all go and support that man.
Yes, sir. All day, regular season on the horizon, spring training.
Man, you ready, bro? Are you ready for what's going to happen this season, man?
Yes, man. I'm excited, man. Hey, the White Sox feel like people sleeping on them. I don't know, but it is what it is. We're going to see.
Listen, and that's usually when the White Sox, too, like, don't get me wrong. I'm a White Sox fan over a Cubs fan every single day. And I can acknowledge that the White Sox didn't do what I would have liked them to do this offseason. But usually when you doubt the Sox, that's when it's like, they come in. I'm not saying they're going to have like this huge playoff run or anything like that, but I do think the Sox are going to surprise some people this season.
Oh, yeah. I think they'll be good, better than they were to start the season last year because you remember how that was. It was brutal until they had that big comeback win in late April. But at the end of the day, health is the issue. Like if you got Moncada coming back the right way, if Eloy Jimenez, it's a lot of ifs, man. So we're going to see with the White Sox. We already know the Cubs are got high expectations too. It's going to be a fun season.
Facts. Trey Talk Sports and shout out Late Bulls chat. Love from Columbus. Columbus where? You in my city? You in Columbus? Well, not my city. I'm not from here, but I do live in Columbus, Ohio. If you're in Columbus, Ohio, hit me up, man. The social media is in the description. Maybe we link up, man, and kick it. There's a Bears bar not too far from me. I like to go. I actually got to connect. We can eat free there. So holla at me, my boy.
Yes, sir.
But all right, y'all, man, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Late Stream. Over 600 of you guys throughout most part of this, man. I love you guys. Like I always say, go support Big Kev. Make sure you're following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, number to do so, 773-242. No, that's the Bears voicemail. 773-270-2799 with the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, man. Peace, y'all. Wait a second. We got to play the winning outro, y'all. Y'all get to hear C-Red while we ride out of here, man. Peace, you guys. Love y'all, man.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.